Okay, so this is an at-home lower body workout recap that you will need your dumbbells for, and you will also need a booty band and a Swiss ball. If you don't have the booty band and the Swiss ball, then it can still work, but it's recommended that you have the equipment. Okay, so we are going to do supersets, which means we will do 2 exercises back to back, one after the other, and then we take a break and then we repeat the set. Okay, so the first exercises will be your leaning Bulgarian squat. So make sure that you do train tracks. We go hip width apart, we take a nice step back. My recommendation is to feel like you got both straight legs, that you push through the back toes, okay, and that you really have that nice parallel distance. Yeah, if you are a little bit too narrow, you are going to struggle. And also make sure that your hips are like headlights and they stay at the front. So it's like we take a lunge, but as we before we take the lunge, we lean a little bit forward. So we take a nice little forward motion, we tap the knee, and then we power through the front leg. So here it's the front leg that works the most, yeah? So this is your leaning Bulgarian squat. This is to help work a bit into the hamstring. If you look at me from the front, you really have that distance, your train tracks, your parallel, and we lean forward and we take it back up, okay? The second exercise will be your staggered stance deadlift. So with the staggered stance deadlift, we want to have one leg forward and one leg is staying underneath. We are gently going to bend the base leg, and we're going to lean forward. Now, make sure that you don't round the back. Make sure that you pop that tailbone away. Keep engaging through your core and roll the shoulders slightly back. Yeah, and we go down. And when we bring it back up, we power through the base leg to squeeze into the glutes. We come down and we power through. Okay, so what's important here is to keep the knee soft. Yeah, you don't want to hyperextend. Keep the knee soft and to drag that hip back. You want to hinge and drag that hip. You want to close the gap between your hip and your thigh. Okay, that's quite important. And also we want to avoid going too much into a back bend here. We want to try and keep a neutral spine, but we tuck the tailbone towards the back of the room. Okay, so I'm dragging my hip and I put it back up. It's a very nice engaging exercise for your hamstrings. Yes, so again, we keep feet as parallel as possible, the knees in line, hips in line, and that's it. So that's your first superset. Your second superset is going to be sumo squats and Cossack lunges. So sumo squats, we take a wider stance than your usual squat. We open the toes slightly and we try and keep the knees going in line in the direction of your feet. So if you feel like your knees are knocking in a little bit, just take the toes a little bit further inside. I'm very used to it, so I can go quite nice and out, but with you, you can just keep this here. You can have both dumbbells, but if you have quite heavy dumbbells, you can just shift to one only, and we hold them in front and we go and take a squat. So for me, I tuck my tailbone slightly under as I practice this movement. You can see here sideways, and I try not to lean forward too much. But that's also working different kind of muscles. Here, the focus by tucking the tailbone under is to try and really dig into this adduction and this abduction. Yeah, so internal, external. So that's your sumo squat. And you are going to follow straight after into your Cossack lunges. So here we go back into parallel feet, but nice and wide stance. Dumbbells on the top of your shoulders. And we take a side lunge, trying to keep both feet on the ground. Sitting back a little bit for this one, so you can come a little bit lower each time. So it's up to you to choose how low you want to go, yeah? It's fine. Okay. All right, so same again. Watch your knees, keep the hips square, and find a stance. Don't try and have too much of a narrow stance. It's going to be a bit difficult. But find what works for you. The last superset that we are going to do is we are going to actually place the band around the knee, on top of the knees, thighs. okay? So here. And if you have your Swiss ball, you take your Swiss ball here, and we come underneath. Make sure that your head is resting fully, okay, on the Swiss ball. And hands on the shoulders, tuck the head a little bit forward, and we do some deep glute bridge with a slight pull out resistance on the band here. So tuck that tailbone, pubic bone towards the ceiling, okay? So that's the really important one. You don't want to end up like arching the back. We want to make sure that we engage. You can use a chair, you can use a bench, you can use your sofa, but just keep a nice gentle flexion of the spine. And your second exercise that you do straight after that is coming out. And we're doing some narrow squats with a nice little opening of the band. You can also take a dumbbell in the hands if you want to add a bit more resistance or a bit more challenge, okay? So like down, open, and up. Down, open, and up. Down, open, and up. Nice and simple. Again, just try and not lean too far forward and also not pop the butt out too much. So try and like find that neutral spine. We're not tucking the tailbone under, we don't have butt wing, but we want to make sure that we keep that spine nice and neutral as we go into our squats. This should give you a really nice burns because me, just as demonstrating, I can really feel it. And I hope that you enjoy your workout.